What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It's episode number 7, it's season 2, it's a brand new season as our second year of Vitality gets underway, where our budget is £49 million for the second year. That's about as I was expecting, probably around 55 to 60 mil I would say with the Premier League money from the TV revenue, but 49 mil, that's about realistic I would say. And so as the season begins, and I'll do one quick advance in the calendar, because obviously for some reason players, if they agree pre-contracts, don't leave on the first, they leave on the second. I've never quite understood why that is, but there we go. Lewis Cook is off to Brighton, will take the money. Lots and lots of years at the Vitality. Like I said, when he was signed from Leeds, he showed so much promise, but he's one of those young players that never really developed. And Ryan Fredericks has also gone to Fulham on a free transfer, or back to Fulham I should say. So that will see our budget rise just slightly to 53 mil on the back of that sale of Lewis Cook going through there. But yeah, 53 mil, I'd say that's about realistic for season 2. And with all of our loan players coming back, Bournemouth have got so many players out on loan in real life. You'll see tons of them coming back here. Marcondes from Hibs, Kiefer Moore's return, Hamid Traore, probably the most noteworthy one from Napoli, Jay Nanfanu from Leeds, Jamal Lowe from Swansea, David Brooks is back as well. Let me sort this out first. There we go, much nicer, much cleaner. I can't sleep at night knowing my team management is not in order. So as you take a look at the team, there are 3 players away at the Euros right now, by the way. Kirkes with Hungary, Travers with Ireland, and who was the other one? Oh, Zabani with Ukraine as well. Heading into the new season, no doubt about it. Like, if we want to make the next step with Bournemouth, we just get them into Europe, we need some more first team quality. We don't need all these players. We're not in Europe right now. You know, we're in 2 cup competitions, yes, but I say it a lot. Like, if you're in Europe, you'll need a fixed squad. If you're not, you don't really need one. So a lot of these players here, I would call them deadwood. We're going to be okay selling in the summer, and I definitely with that £50 million. I'm not worried about squad depth. I'm not worried about numbers. We've got plenty of players here. We need to thin the squad, trim the squad, if anything. But what we do want to do is bring in some more first-team quality. Kirkes, I believe, is a potential upgrade. He's now an exciting prospect. That's what getting the team of the season does for you, Milos. Love to see that. Lloyd Kelly, I don't know whether he'll be going or not. He did sign that extension, but like I said, if we get a bid from Liverpool or Spurs, I'll probably let him go for the realism. Metham's probably going to go. I want to keep hold of Senesi and Zabani, who were pretty solid last year. They're still trying to loan out Nicholas Knight if I can. There we go. We said this at the season finale. Hopefully Adam Smith would retire. He's been here for a decade, and now he is going to hang about coming the end of the season. We love to see that. Max hopefully will stay. Tyler hopefully stays well. But yeah, players like Gavin, Kilkenny, I'd probably say are going to go. Jay Nanfanu, I'm probably going to sell. Joe Rothwell too. Still undecided about David Brooks, but Marcondes as well. Yeah, there's a few players here that have returned from loan that, you know, might still have a point to prove. But I would say that the majority of them, including Jamal Lowe and Kiefer Moore as well, are probably going to get sold. Yeah, to be honest, I don't think any of these players are going to stay. I don't think I'll keep any of these guys. I know Jamal Lowe was a fan favourite in the Swansea save, but like I said, when I've had an icon in one save, I rarely transferred him into another one. So, yeah, I think all of these players are going to go. I don't think any of these guys are going to get new deals. This is a young forward, but I don't know what his ceiling is. I think all these players are going to go. Most on the transfer list, and some will just let go on free transfers. And right off the bat, well, I didn't realise he had a release clause, as we see these 3 players say they're glad that they'll be getting sold in the summer. Travers is on Scandinavia. AGF have met a 5.7 mil release clause. Okay, might need a new backup goalkeeper this year then. And Everton will Justin Kluivert. This is interesting. I struggled to get him in the first team consistently last year, but after just a 1 year, I'm not against letting him go, man. Traore's just come back. Brooks has come back. He's only grown a rating. I'm going to negotiate with Everton now. If we can get around 27.5 to 30 mil out of Sean Dyche, I will definitely take that. I know they're wary of FFP, but he does seem like he would fit Everton. Do you know what I mean? I'll go 26.5 mil for Justin Kluivert. That's 10 mil over the market valuation. I think that's fair in today's market. And Sean Dyche says, yeah, I'm alright with that. With Travers though, I don't really want him to go, to be honest, because he's homegrown, came through the Bournemouth Academy. You know how important that is to me in my career modes. And as a backup goalkeeper, he's alright at 74 overall and 25 years old. He hasn't asked to leave, has he? No. So with that being the case, I might ask him to stay and ask him to sign a new contract. Yeah, don't go, Mark. I mean, I know you're not going to be starting ahead of Neto, but you still could. take over as the number one at some point in the future. Travers, I remember when Travers made his debut against Spurs, and he pulled off a string of fine saves as a teenage goalkeeper, and he looked really, really promising. But again, one of those players who never really developed, you know. But he will agree a 2-year extension, and will take the release clause out as well. Mark Travers, he ain't going to Scandinavia, he's staying in Dorset. And there is a loan bid for Nicholas Knight as well. It's from the Basque Spanish side, Amora Bieta. I want to get him in the Football League if possible, but I wonder if his rating is just too low for even League 2 clubs to put a loan deal in. So I might have to sell him elsewhere. But anyway, Justin Kluivert is going to go to Everton. So yeah, 26.5 mil for the son of Patrick. He's a decent player, don't get me wrong, and I only had 1 year with him, but it's just so hard to get in the game time, man. We kind of overloaded on the wings. Someone had to go, and in the end it's going to be Kluivert. He's solid, but he needs more first-team football, and he just ain't going to get it here. And the thing is, I also have a plan to bring someone else in as well. So with that being the case, yeah, I can't sign yet another player on the wings and keep Kluivert as well. So he's gone to Everton. I don't mind that at all, to be fair, as we see a bid coming from a Famalicão. No, that's Feral Pisalo. I thought it was Famalicão there. Okay, that's the Serie B side. I love the logo, love the badge. And do you know what? Fair enough. We're not going to get his Football League, let's be honest here, so we might as well loan him out to the Serie A. And Clement Foot with Marcondes, totally fine. Loan spell at Hibs, but he's just not going to be good enough for this team at 29 right now as well. Oh, by the way, for those who are wondering who won the playoffs, it was at Millwall. Leeds, Leicester and Southampton. Same three that went down 2 years ago, back in the top tier. And it's Valencia that want Kiefer Moore. Really? I would have thought Cardiff would try and buy him back. He's been sublime since going on loan to Cardiff. Huh, okay, well he's not going to Valencia. Hopefully we'll get him to the second tier instead. And a bid for Jamal Lowe, and Boca Juniors want Jamal Lowe. I've said this before, but like as a retiring player in the final few years, it's cool when you can sort of go anywhere you want. That would be a great stint for him in Buenos Aires. But no, somewhere more realistic, hopefully, instead. Who's that one from? Copenhagen. That's not too bad. I don't mind that. Staying in Europe, going to Denmark. And we're gonna loan Nicholas Knight out to the Serie B here. It's always so frustrating. I mentioned this before. Loans are quite unrealistic in Korea. They're very unrealistic. One thing I would love for EA to add in the future, one of my sort of like hopeful wish list items I've got is feeder clubs. Bournemouth got a relationship with Hibs. They loaned out Marcondes there and a couple other players for this season too. I'd love feeder clubs. I really would. I think that'll make loans easier and a lot more realistic as well. I'll consider that Jamal Lowe deal. But there we go. Marcondes off to Clement Foot. 29. Just never going to get a game here and totally fine staying here. We've got a lot of players like this, what we call deadwood players. We don't mind how low the transfer fee is. We just want to get their salaries off the books. Down on a couple of bids there, including one from Young Boys for Kiefer Moore, and there we go. The giant Nicholas Knight is off to the Serie B. We'll keep an eye on him there, and we'll see if hopefully he can grow a little bit more. No pun intended, but 58 overall. Never going to get a game here, but sometimes loans they glitch a little bit, and a player grows significantly in the first 6 months of a loan spell. Fingers crossed that'll happen in this case as well. Hey, and this is nice. Fulham putting in a bid for Joe Rothwell. Yep, totally fine with that. £2.65 million deal for Joe returning. Just looking at the squad now, starting to thin out a little bit, starting to trim out and sell some of the deadwood here. Still unsure about Jaden Anthony and Hamid Traore. Anthony, I think he was on the books of Arsenal, but did come through the Bournemouth Academy, so he's technically homegrown. That's why I'd like to keep him. We got him, Traore, Semenyo, and David Rich returning as well. This is why, like I said, with Kluivert, you know, just couldn't keep all of these pieces here with Tavernier, Sinistera, Clark, and Romain as well. So I didn't mind selling Kluivert for that feeder. And I do have someone I do want to bring in on the wing as well. So if I was going to make this signing, someone had to go. And I would love to bring him back to the Premier League. I've never used him before. But as a replacement for Justin Kluivert, this dude would fit us like a glove. Relegated with Wolves, but I'd love to bring him back to the top tier. I've never used him. Never used him before, but I'd love to give him a go. Pedro Neto, a brilliant inside forward. And relegated with Wolves should be available on a reasonable transfer. Let's bring him in. Yeah, I don't know if Pedro Neto would have a relegation release clause at Molineux, but I would say personally, I'd say in this market right now, with Wolves being a solid Premier League side, it's worth about 50 mil. But with them going down, that would then bring the transfer fee down as well. So I could see him going back on loan to the Premier League, but right now I'd say probably you can trim about 15 to 17.5 mil off the what you consider realistic market valuation of 50 mil. So I'd say 32.5 mil is the minimum sort of side of that. And in the end, Gary O'Neill says yeah. So that's a low fee, but you got to factor in their relegation as well. 32.5 mil. That's a decent offer. And he's a decent player. I've never used him before, so really excited to give him a go. And again, he's absolutely rapid. Despite the injuries he's had, he's still absolutely rapid, amazing agility. As an inside forward on that right, he'll fit us like a glove. It's a 5-year, 50 grand a week deal and in on a club record transfer fee of 32.5 mil. Again, probably could have got him a little bit cheaper, but again, I'd say realistically right now in his current market, he's around 45 to 50 million pound true market valuation. But with a relegation, yeah, 32.5 mil to 35 mil, I'd say is quite realistic. And welcome to the Vitality Stadium, Pedro Neto. Never used him before, so really excited to give him a go. And again, that left foot on that right-hand side, with the pace of this guy's got, the agility, the balance, and the finishing ability as well. I am so excited to give him a go for the first time ever. Of course, we'll get him that high defensive work rate, but when going forward, this guy I expect is going to get us around 8 to 12 goals this season from that right-hand side. He is an absolute baller, man. Seriously, what a talent. Yeah, I would say that Sinistera will now come off the bench as an impact sub. I'm still not sure whether I should start Tav or Remain through the middle, because Tav was, it's always hard because like when you look at the stats you think, oh, Remain surely far better, but you got to remember like Tav was joint top in assists last year, and I often say it's not all about the players' attributes and their overall that should make the decision on who should start and who shouldn't. I'd say right now, looking at the team, I wouldn't mind possibly a new right back for Max Aaron, who is solid, don't get me wrong, but didn't get a single assist or goal last season, and Smith's retiring coming the end of the year as well. Or maybe a new CB. Kelly still might move on. Metham's definitely going to go at some point. Not sure what James Hill's ceiling is. And maybe someone to partner Zabani long times an LCB. I'm not sure. And I still haven't had a bid for Solanke. That's the most surprising thing. I still haven't had a bid for Dominic Solanke. Fingers crossed, touch wood, that remains that way until September the 1st. Well, Stoke won't kill Kenny, so totally fine with that, as you can go to the Bet365 stage. Is it still called a Bet365? Stoke? I'm not too sure. And there's Joe Rothwell going to Fulham. Again, these deals here, they're not going to make as much money in terms of transfer fees, but the most important thing is just getting the salaries off the books. So I often say, if you've got a fixed squad and you don't need the cash, you're not cash strapped like we are, even if you sell a player for under market valuation or not much more than it, don't be against accepting a bid. It's just best to get the salaries off the book and free up a squad space. And there we go. Another sale as Gavin Kilkenny is off to Stoke. Totally fine with that. And again, we don't get much money for the sales, but again, it's just thinning out the squad, clearing out the deadwood, and getting the salaries off the book as well. So yeah, just shy of 49 mil in the budget now. Team's starting to thin out a little bit. I'm still so surprised. I know I'm tempting fate by saying this, that we haven't had a bid for Dom Solanke yet. Very strange, but yeah, looking at the team right now, I'd say I still want to conclude Kiefer Moore's sale, Jamal Lowe's sale, and I think one of these three are probably going to go as well. And then I'll look to reinvest the cash, which should be just over 50 mil. And we've just seen the conclusion of the European Championship, as well as I'll run you through the official tournament tree with the groups as well, where Spain beat England on penalties, Poland beat Sweden on penalties, and Czech Republic beat Germany on penalties in a shootout heavy quarter-final. And in the end, it was a France-Spain final, where France went out winners. They are just so dominant right now as a national side. I swear they win everything in my career modes. And there we go. We were waiting for that. Dominic Solanke, wanted by Aston Villa. Not actually going to be a European side for this year, I believe. We finished above them in the table, and they didn't win any cup competition. So, is that right? Is that right? I think that's right. I'm in the wrong place here. They're not. Are they European? Yeah, they're not European this year. So, whilst I could see it happen in real life if Villa do hold on to a Champions League place, I'm not so sure about right now, especially because they've kept hold of both, well, for now, Moussa Diaby and Ollie Watkins as well. So, I know Watkins is gone, but they've got Immobile, and they've got Jota, and they've got the youngster Duran, who's brilliant in this game. So I think with that being the case, not Aston Villa. If we get a certified European club putting a bid in, then I'd accept it. But in this save right now, Villa aren't a European side. Yes, they just lost Watkins, but they're not a European club at this point in the save. If it's someone like a Liverpool or an Arsenal, I'll accept it. But until then, it's a no. Hey, there we go. That's more realistic. Jamal Lowe, wanted by Coventry City. So yeah, totally fine. That £1.3 million deal. As he's going to go to the Rico. More realistic. Copenhagen, not completely unrealistic, but he spent his entire professional career playing either non-league or football league. So yeah, I think it's a lot more realistic he goes there than Boca Juniors, for example. So Jamal Lowe, always believing. Yeah, we'll always love him for the Swansea stint in the Swansea career mode. But yeah, we don't transfer the Docks legends, man. He's going to go to the Rico Arena. This is quite an interesting one here. We've got a bid for Remain from the Bees. Okay, we will see Derby County put a bid for Mariah Welsh. Again, totally fine selling him to a Football League side. But that's an interesting one there. He's only had 1 year with us. I do like him, to be fair. But the Bees, they're in a European competition now after winning the FA Cup last season, albeit as villains taking out Cambridge United. I'm going to negotiate that. Yeah, if the Bees weren't a European side, I'd probably just tell them to get stuffed. But because they are going into the Europa League, I suppose Remain will probably say, hey, come on, man. Inconsistent game time last year with a chance to play European football and go to London as well. I think he probably asked to leave. The interesting thing is they offered Rico Henry, who at left back obviously suffered a severe injury this season in real life. I actually quite like that because Kirk is our only left back right now. If I could squeeze a little bit more money, plus Rico Henry, I don't mind that, to be fair. I don't mind that at all. 13.5 mil. Plus Henry, who would now become a solid backup for Kirkes. Yep, I'll take that. 13.5 mil plus Henry. Maybe there are better left backs out there, but Rico going from Walsall to Brentford to Dorset, yeah, I don't mind that. If he takes a minor pay cut for me, Rico Henry, on a 4-year deal, I would take that. And he's going to agree to as well. That's not a bad deal, that's not a bad part exchange. I very rarely accept a player as part of a swap deal for one of my players, but in this case, I actually quite like it. Rico Henry coming to us on a 4-year deal, mainly to be backup for Kirkes, but also to start when the Hungarian needs a rest, and Remain going to a now European side in Brentford in London. I think this move works out for all 4 parties. Yeah, I like that. I think that works well there. Henry can come in and be a backup left back because we don't have one for Kirkes. Which means he'll take a seat on the bench for the most part, but start ahead of Milos on the rare game where the Hungarian needs a start, and Remain going to Brentford means they get themselves a class player that can help them in Europe. I think that works really well for all parties there. I like that move. Oh, and as Mariah Welsh went to Derby as well, missed that one there for a small transfer fee. Our budget now to £64 million, and I have just seen, just before I make my next signing, I have just seen a couple of bids here for David Brooks and for Ryan Christie. Not sure about Osasuna, but Wolves I think works absolutely perfectly. Final want Ryan Christie. I think I'll turn that one down, plus the Osasuna deal for David Brooks. But for Wolves, even though it's less money, I prefer the move there. We've just signed Pedro Neto. David Brooks is the same sort of player, left-footed on that right-hand side. And he would fit the Championship as Wolves will do a little rebuild there in the second tier. So we'll try and get let's go 11.75 mil for David Brooks. And whilst we'll always love David Brooks and he'll always be welcome back here, 11 mil as he's off to Gary O'Neill. We'll take Pedro Neto, they'll take David Brooks. I like that move. So there we go, David Brooks gone, and we'll take the £11 million for the Welsh international. That raises our budget up now to an absolutely staggering £74.5 million of wage budget considerations, more likely to be 70, but even so, we sold over 63.75 mil worth of players here. I love that, man. All the deadwood getting sold, man. It all adds up. It all adds up. Just looking at the team right now, what do we need? Where do we reinvest that money? We've got Rico Henry as the part exchange deal. We brought in Pedro Neto as a club record fee. I think now we look for that new CAM. Okay, Tav can fill in there. Tav will probably play there for the time being if we don't sign one, but I want like a real creator through that middle of the park. That's my next target if we don't get a bid for Solanke from a European side, which to be honest is really stunning though. And let's be honest here, there's no one better, is there? There's no one better for that role than this man, because yes, he's listed as a striker, But under Gary O'Neill, playing as a second striker or an attacking midfielder at times this year, Matheus Cunha is just as good deeper as he is as a spearhead. Amazing dribbling, amazing ball control, can shoot from range, really creative as well. And he's the perfect fit as that man to play in behind Dominic Solanke, if not taking over from him as our new starting striker. Let's bring him in. Just like with Pedro Neto, I don't know whether he would have a relegation release clause at Wolves, but I would say, based on how good he's been this season in real life, how much he's currently worth in terms of market valuation, it's a tough one. I would probably say around 35, maybe 40 mil. But again, if they were to get relegated, then maybe 30 mil. Maybe 30 mil. I think to me that would be okay. I think 30 mil for Cunha, and again we could probably get him slightly cheaper. But I'd say realistically, 30 mil for him and 32.5 for Pedro Neto. I could see both of those bids getting accepted if Wolves were to have gone down. Yeah, just like Pedro Neto, it's a 5-year, 50 grand a week deal as the Portuguese-speaking duo will now move on from Molineux to the Vitality Stadium. And I don't think I've ever used him before, despite the promise he'd shown at Hertha Berlin, Atletico Madrid, and now at Wolves as well. I'm really excited to give him a go for the first time ever, man. Yeah, it's a £30 million fee that could have been cheaper, but I'd say it's a realistic deal as well. Welcome to the Vitality Stadium, Matheus Cunha. Yeah, really excited to give him a go, man. And again, to me, you look at the stats here, high work rate. You know I love that. He's really physical, great body on him, 82 stamina, and technically absolutely sublime with 4-star as well. If Solanke stays, he'll be a CAM. If Solanke goes, he'll be a striker. I think for now, I won't do the conversion. I'll wait and see what happens with Solanke. I'm happy to have him replacing Dom or starting just behind. Either way, he's an ideal fit for this Bournemouth team. I'm so excited to use him for the first time ever, man. And so with our budget now down to just over 40 mil, I'm going to turn down this bid here for Kiefer Moore from Al Shabab. Again, I do want to keep him in the Football League if possible. Just not sure if that bid's going to come in yet. Then again, we waited for a while, and then we got one for Jamal Lowe, so you never know. And Brentford want to take Semenyo as well, so they've just taken Romain. Now they want Antoine as well. I'm not against selling him, but I don't know. I'll think about that one there. And an academy there as well. I'm tempted to actually give pro deals out to a couple of youngsters here, including Charlie Fitz. I might do that. He's 18 years old. He'll ask for a pro deal at some point this season. So I'm going to give him a pro deal now because I know some of you guys have been pointing this out in the comments. Doxy boy, please give your best youth players pro deals before the summer window comes to its close, because that way you can loan them out and get them playing first team football. So I'll do the same with him and Marcus Bailey as well. I think I'll keep the others as they are right now. This guy's just here for the ride right now. He's just here for the vibes at 36 overall. And we'll add them to the loan list. I think the French duo of Noah and Gillet will probably stay in the academy at 16, but we'll loan the youngsters out. And try and get them some first team football. How good is Phillips, by the way? Exciting prospect. Yes, very excited about this young man. I've added them both to the loan list. So just turned out a bid for Max Aarons from Leicester. Not against selling him to a European side, but not to a side who are just promoted to the Premier League. And now Braga want to take Kiefer Moore. I think I'm going to have to sell him outside of England and Wales as well. I was really hoping that Cardiff would put a bid in because, you know, Welsh international and been firing on all cylinders since his loan spell to Cardiff, but I'm just not getting a bid for him. Stade Brestois, French side want to take Charlie Phillips. And again, the loan system is really broken in career mode, unfortunately. So really, if we can loan out our young players anywhere, we might as well just accept a bid. Oh no, but Sheffield United have put a loan deal. That's better. That's way better. They've just gone down to the Challenger. I far prefer that. Let's retract that bid, actually. And now we're getting to Sheffield United. I know in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. And especially because of the fact that, you know, players grow wherever in career mode. But I just like the feel, you know. I just like the feel. You get more game time at the Blazer, I think, now being a Challenger side. And as we see, that's a bit more realistic. Blackburn Rovers putting a bid for Kiefer Moore, 1.7 mil. This is why we were waiting. This is why we were turning those bids down, waiting for a more realistic offer there. He's off to Ewood Park. Marcus Bailey wanted, but again, I'd like to get into like a League 2 side if possible. And I might actually turn that bid down for Semenyo, to be fair. I know Brentford had just qualified for Europe, but I don't know. That's a tough one, that. I like Antoine. I think he's quite an underrated player. And whilst he is a Ghanaian international, he was born in England. Came through the Bristol City Academy, I believe. So he homegrown and trained in the nation. If Brentford are worried about homegrown players, I'll go on then. Go on. Fair enough. I do like him, but I'll say a chance for him to go play European football there. And he might... Would he get more minutes? I don't know. I don't know. But if they want him, and it's a chance for him to play European football, just like Remain, we'll say fair enough. 6 mil, and the English-born Ghanaian international is off to the G-Tech. I mean, to be fair, we've got so many players on the wing. We can't keep them all. Sinisterra and Tav are coming off the bench. We still got Traore. We still got Jaden Anthony as well. So yeah, we have to sell at least one of those players, I'd say. So I guess Semenyo is going to be that guy who goes. And there we go. Kiefer Moore is off to Ewood Park for 1.7 mil as well. Still plenty of money in the budget. That Semenyo deal is about to go through imminently as well. I just don't know where to reinvest the rest of the money in. So as Antoine Semenyo goes to the G-Tech, I like him, man. I think he's really underrated, both off the wing and spearheading an attack as well. With the Bees being a European side, just come on the back of winning an FA Cup, chance to play in Europe, in London, and he's got a first team squad number as well, number 8. I don't mind that at all. Semenyo goes for a small transfer fee. So our budget now, around £50 million. I'm going to make my 4th signing here, and to be fair, we were looking at him last year, and if he's half as good as his teammate was for us last season, I think he'd be an absolute steal of a pickup. Dan Neil at Sunderland, still in the Championship, wanting to make the move to the Premier League like Jack Clark. I think he'd be an ideal backup holding mid. Let's bring him in. Yep, just like Lewis Cook signing from Leeds, just like Alex Scott signing from Bristol City, Dan Neil signing from Sunderland for £8.5 million on a 5-year, 30 grand a week deal. Young English midfielder signed from a Football League side to develop his game at the Vitality. Not for the first time, and probably won't be the last. Yeah, I really like this signing here. Whilst I call him a holding midfielder, I'd say personally he's more of a box-to-box. Wherever he plays, however, I'm sure he'll be, hopefully, just as good as Jack Clark. Welcome to the Vitality. Dan Neil, yeah, really good talent. Whether he's going to be just as good as Jordan Henderson, I guess we'll see in time. But yeah, this guy's a bundle of energy. 88 stamina. A high work rate, you know I love that. And again, I would say personally he can sit deeper. He could play right back in this team, no doubt about that as well, or just as a natural box-to-box. Really, he's very versatile. He can do all of those roles. And as we see, young Charlie Phillips go out on loan to Sheffield United, relegated to the 2nd tier. Hopefully, he'll get the game time there at Bramwell Lane and develop, because he is a serious young talent. We've got another bid for Dominic Solanke, but it's from Luton Town. So yeah, Luton did survive last year in the Premier League, but that'll be a move backwards, I'd say, for Dom. So, of course, going to turn it on. I can't believe we haven't had a bid from, like, a Liverpool or a Spurs. Granted, it'd be a backup there. But even so, I really expected that. I really expected that. And we're still not getting the loan offers for Marcus Bay that I want. Redez, the French side, I think I'm just going to say fair enough. I wanted to get into like a League 2 team, but the overall I think is just too low for a bid of that nature to come in here. Right, let's play the first game of the season and see if we can get off to a winning start this year, where, by the way, for this season, the board have asked us to reach the Europa League. Very tough aim from the board for just our 2nd year after last season finishing in 9th, but we'll see what we can do. 4 new signings to the team if you include Rico Henry, but it's the Wolves duo that will start from the get-go. Let's see if we can begin our 2nd season with a win against Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. Come on, you cherries. So pretty poor first half. They're still tied at 0-0, but I'll take it. Good clean sheet and a good point against an Arsenal side. As Neto makes a brilliant save there and keeps it at 0-0. I know. Oh, what a lovely one too. I know we need a long-term successor at some point. As Cunha is sent through, and this is what Cunha can do. 1-on-1, puts it wide. Weaker left foot, I had time to set myself, just adrenaline got the better of me and missed the target. Matheus Cunha, behind Solanke, is probably where we'll get the best out of him, because as a 2nd striker, he can come and play, either again, just in behind, or run through when Dom holds the ball up. I hope Solanke does stay, because he and Cunha, I think, will be an amazing partnership. That should have been his first in Bournemouth colours. Absolutely balls that one up there. Woeful miss from me. What a sitter. I know Cunha's got a 4-star week for, but come on, Doxy boy. You had the time to set yourself there and absolutely blew it. Neto with another good save. Comfortable one, but needed making, as it's still tied at 0-0. I love Neto, man. He's become a fan's favourite with the Cherries already in such a short space of time. And you can see why as well. He's our captain. We really like him. And again, he'll need to be replaced at some point, but not right now. Even so, you could have 2 Netos in goal and Mark Trowers at that moment there. None of them are getting near that. Eddie Nketiah fires in the opener. Arsenal have, to be fair, the deserved lead. Solanke to Pedro Neto. We know he's got the pace. As we look for space down the right, work back in. Just can't find an opening yet. Until we do. Oh, Cunha, lovely ball, but just cut out in the nick of time. He's looked lively on his debut. As he's hustling. Oh my goodness gracious me, I've missed 2 sitters. Can't be doing that against the best teams, man, and expect to win games. 2 sitters today. He's probably going to do it as well as the Gunners look to wrap this up here late. No, Billings in, and Cunha gets away from Rice. And says, Dom, off you go. And Solanke says, this is where I'm staying. Dominic Solanke, with 4 minutes on the clock, has just bailed Bournemouth out. We missed with Cunha, we missed with Clark, but it's Solanke to the rescue late. As the Cherries will claim a level. A great ball by Matheus, great finish by Dom, and the Cherries blushes are spared late. In early season RTGs, draws against the big boys are normally considered good results, but based on the balance of play, we should have got all 3 on match day 1. 2 points drop, no doubt about it, and if we want to be a Europa League team for next season, those are the opportunities we've got to take. But that will do it for today's episode and the season opener of the Realistic Cunha, guys, so big thank you for watching, enjoyed it, and if you have enjoyed today's system, please do drop a like. Much love to you all, have a fantastic day. I'll return with more games in the league. The first round we enter in the Carabao Cup, and we're just over 40 mil in the budget, and 10 days to go before the transfer window slams shut. More new signings, I'm sure, as we continue to rebuild this AFC Bournemouth side. Have a fantastic day. Much love to you all, and I will see you for the next episode of the Realistic Career Mode very soon.